In the midst of all the craziness that 2020 has brought, and perhaps despite all of the craziness that 2020 has brought, we are expected to still celebrate Thanksgiving. But not really, because some states have, for all intents and purposes, canceled Thanksgiving, and other states have restricted it to a great degree. The CDC is recommending that Americans do not travel to go gather with and break bread with family as usual. But we're expected to celebrate Thanksgiving. Make it make sense. Hi there, welcome to Breathe and Bloom. My name is Ashley, and today I want to talk with you about Thanksgiving. Yes, Thanksgiving, the holiday in particular. And I want to talk with you about how to make the best of what you have this year. So I want to talk about 3 ways to make the most out of Thanksgiving 2020. And one of those ways includes some ideas of things you can do if you are alone on Thanksgiving. You might be alone because of the pandemic, because you do not want to travel, you don't want to put yourself at risk, or you don't want to put your relatives at risk, or maybe you tend to be alone on Thanksgiving because you do not want to be with your relatives, or it's, a lot of drama or a lot of hurt, or you're just far away. For me, I rarely spend Thanksgiving with family, and one of the tips that I'll be sharing is something that I tend to do on Thanksgiving. So stay tuned for those. It'll be 8 quick, easy, fun, simple ideas of things you can do to celebrate Thanksgiving in a different way this year. If it's that you're alone, or it's just not as large of a gathering, or you just want to spice it up and switch it up because 2020 has been cray. Whatever it is, stay tuned. So the first way you can make the most out of 2020's Thanksgiving is to remember the reason for the season. And I'm not talking about the historical narrative associated with Thanksgiving, because, that is problematic. But we're not going there. We're talking about what Thanksgiving is supposed to represent and supposed to serve. It's supposed to be a time and space for reflecting on what you have to give thanks for, right? And to then give thanks for those things. So I want to encourage you to still do that, whether it's you by yourself or it's you and your immediate family alone. I want to encourage you to still reflect and to still give God thanks, regardless of what you have gone through this year. And I know that a lot of people have faced a lot of tough things this year. You still have things to be thankful for. And so I want to encourage you to spend some time thinking about that. I further want to encourage you to create a gratitude list. So, ideally, you'll make a longish list, maybe of 10 things that you're grateful for this year. But listen, if you can only come up with one thing, and that's the fact that you're still alive, then write that list and give thanks for it. All right. I want to encourage you to really think about it. What do you have to give thanks for this year? The second way is to not ignore your feelings. How to make the best of 2020's Thanksgiving? Don't ignore how you feel. I want to encourage you to take a moment to do some journaling, or to sit and examine how you feel. And, if you want to write it on paper, or you want to take it to God, or you want to talk with some relatives over the phone or in person, depending on your situation, about how you've been feeling, then do that. How you're feeling about Thanksgiving in particular, or about the year in general. I think this time will pose a lot of challenge for a lot of people, because there begs the question, well, God, if you are there, if you are as loving as you say you are, and if you're so worthy of praise and honor, and I'm supposed to be giving you thanks, but it doesn't seem like you've really done anything this year. You haven't, I want to encourage you to wrestle with your feelings if you need to, and to give thanks for them nonetheless. So I want you to reflect on how you feel and to work through those feelings. The third thing that I want to encourage you to do, or the third way to make the most out of Thanksgiving this year, especially if you are spending it alone, but these can work for other things, is to make a plan to do something. You might be like, oh, my grandma and auntie and cousins and nieces and nephews and uncles and all of that, they aren't coming over, so I don't feel like making a Thanksgiving dinner. Honey, make you that dinner. You might make less sides, but make you that dinner. If it's you alone, pick your favorite sides and make it and enjoy the process of making it. Or get some takeout if you feel safe doing so. But do something around food, because Thanksgiving usually reminds people of food. And I believe that if you're sitting on your couch eating pizza, you're gonna not feel great. So think about food and do something. Related to this is to do a virtual friendsgiving. And that just means gather with some friends on Zoom or Hangout or one of those other video calling platforms and celebrate together, talk together, maybe share, some Thanksgiving stories and memories, whatever you want to do, but make some time to do that. If that sounds like a plan to you. I'll give Zoom a little plug. I've been seeing a meme or a post on social media saying that a Zoom Thanksgiving is better than an ICU Thanksgiving, which is, I think this tip is particularly helpful for people who stay by themselves or who will be by themselves for Thanksgiving. The second idea for Thanksgiving 2020 is to get active, to do a DIY project that you've had on your list. Something fun around the house that you've wanted to do, but you haven't been able to make time. Just do it and call that your Thanksgiving. The third one is to enjoy a hobby that you haven't done in a while. So maybe there's a book on your shelf that you've been wanting to read, or, like me, there's some painting that you've been meaning to finish. Then make some time to do that thing and to just enjoy that. The fourth one, go for a walk or try a new workout routine, go for a drive. The fifth one, do some pampering. You could set up a cute little at-home spa, Number 6 is, and I think I lost count, y'all. I'm gonna stop counting in these videos because I don't need to be revealing myself to y'all like this, my counting struggle, Anywho, the next one is to try the cozy challenge. So what is that? You find your coziest outfit. Maybe something like this. Listen. Something warm and fuzzy and cozy. You pick out a movie that just gives you all the warm feelings. You pick out the warm drink, the food like I talked about before that feels good, and you have yourself a cozy day. And if you start worrying or getting sad or anxious, you say, hey, I'm not failing this cozy challenge. All right, and then the last one that I want to suggest is to tell some people thanks. That might be calling up some folk, or it might be writing some letters of gratitude. I'll give a plug. There's some free e-card sending websites online, so you can check those out as well. So I really hope that you take my advice and celebrate Thanksgiving nonetheless, and celebrate it wholeheartedly and try to make the most of the day. I hope that you remember the reason, gratitude, giving God thanks, that you don't ignore your feelings, and that you plan to do something, whatever will make your heart happy. Now, I want to leave you with 2 Bible verses. One of them says we should give thanks in all seasons. And it says the reason we should do that is because it is the will of God. Now, a lot of people go around saying, I don't know what the will of God is. What's the will of God for my life? This verse says the will of God is for you to give God thanks in the good times and the bad times, in November and in January, in 2020 and in whenever your happiest year was. Give thanks in and out of season. And then the final verse is one that says, in God's presence, there is fullness of joy. And so if you are not feeling it at all this Thanksgiving, I want to encourage you to go spend some time in God's presence, because when you really go into his presence and you take time to release your burdens, to cast your cares on him, you will find that he will meet you there and he will rejuvenate you. He will replenish your joy and your peace. So spend some time with him. My prayer for you today is that the peace of Christ will rule in your heart. Your heart will be governed by peace. Your heart will be full of peace, and that you will be thankful. Until next time, continue to breathe and to bloom. Take care.